A lot of people have problems with muscle tension, and they don't know what to do about it, because I see people making a lot of mistakes. They stretch, and stretching doesn't work very well. In fact, stretching creates a recoil effect. The brain is creating your muscle tension problem. Your nervous system is running it. And the nervous system learns almost nothing from stretching. There's not much cortical learning from stretching. And I see people, they say, oh, you know, my back hurts, my back is spasming, my ankle hurts, my knee hurts, all these pains they've got. It's too vast, it's too complicated to explain what I do. That's the problem. Because what I really do is I help you be able to sense you. Because even though you think you're sensing you, it's like an amnesia. The problem is like amnesia in that we don't know our own amnesia. So we don't know how little we're sensing ourselves. Because where your muscle tension problems are, those are places where you can't sense yourself very well. So if the system has had a lot of practice tightening the front, which is usually a reaction to a certain type of stress. It creates like stresses that have you go into a withdrawal response, close up the front. We've all had those kinds of experiences. If your system has a lot of practice doing that, eventually that turns into an automatic routine, a script that it runs whenever it's in doubt. Can be your go-to stress response. And then people get to be 60 or 55 or even 25. They say, wow, I'm hunched over. What is this? I'm worried about that. I don't want to be one of these hunched over people. Well, if you can't sense that your muscles are on right there and you don't have voluntary control of that involuntary tension, you can stretch all day, but your system wants you to be hunching over. It wants there to be that much tension. It's determined. Same thing for your back. Your back, you can't sense the tension in your back very well, and you go to sleep and your back is still on, maybe 20, 30, 40% on, and you wake up in the morning and you think, wow, my back is already creaky and achy. I just got out of bed. I can't reach down to put my shoe on. My back's too tight. That's the problem. And what about these people who have these injuries? I was in a car accident and I injured the side of my body, and now that side is just totally a mess. The problem spreads like wildfire through your system. In a sort of reaction to injury, reflexive tension pattern, a learned pattern that your nervous system gets good at, and soon it runs it all the time. It's outside your control. I don't fix you. That's the interesting thing. I don't fix anybody, but if you look at my website, inspiresomatics.com, you'll see spectacular results. Go to the testimonials. It's more than I ever imagined was possible. And those are all true. Those are all testimonials that people wrote. Those are true. And there's people who are injured and say, wow, I haven't been able to breathe well since I was in that auto accident. And we make some amazing progress. But your system learns these patterns. What does it take to unlearn a habit? It takes some diligence. So the people who succeed at this are people who put a little effort into it, who are going to say, well, I'd like to change. I'd like to change how I feel. And even depression. Let's think about depression. Well, the guy who came up with what I do, a brilliant man named Hanna, he said that depression is the habituated startle reflex. Now, that doesn't mean we were startled into it, but the startle reflex is this closing up of the front. It's a response to stress. And if we have stress, one of our go-to patterns is to close up the front. If your nervous system gets enough practice, soon it just runs it on autopilot. It says, I know how to get you through life. I'm going to help you survive because I know how to react to stress that you have in your life. I'm going to react for you. I'm going to tighten up these muscles because it's worked so well in the past. But then you get trapped in it because the human nervous system learns so well. We get trapped by our astonishing ability to learn. Your tension pattern is learned. And I can show you how to unlearn it, how to teach your nervous system how to be free from, or more free from, these habituated patterns. That's why what I do has an odd name. It's called clinical somatic education. But that's exactly an accurate term because it's clinical in that it's one-on-one. You can come and take a class with me, but it's most effective in a one-on-one session because we use a technique called assisted pandiculation, which really helps you teach your brain so wonderfully. It's an enjoyable technique where I help you create sensory motor feedback to your brain so you can regain control of these problems. But okay, so we have clinical, that's the one-on-one. Somatic, what does somatic mean? That's the experience of being embodied. It's not just anatomy. Yes, it is anatomy, and I know my anatomy extremely well. I've had doctors as patients and surgeons and cardiologists, and I know my anatomy extremely well, especially musculoskeletal anatomy, because you are your anatomy, but you're way more than that. You are embodied in that anatomy. You're a sensing being that it's a nervous system that pervades the whole thing. You are living in your anatomy. So to go to see someone who fixes you like you're a machine, well, one, that's not correct because you're not a machine. You don't have interchangeable parts. And it just doesn't work that way. You're a sensing being. Your nervous system controls the whole muscle tension problem. So a massage therapist just tricks your nervous system into relaxing the muscles. And I studied massage and it didn't solve my problem. I had a really horrible muscle pain problem that I was determined to solve. And I studied massage at a very technical high level and it did not solve my problem. And the tension just comes back. The system goes back to the habit. So we got somatic, clinical one-on-one. Somatic, you're a brain and a body interconnected as one. The solution has to be somatic because your brain is creating the problem in your body. You can't separate the two. And then education, that's important because this is education because I show you how to teach your nervous system how to solve the problem that it's trapped in a repetitive loop. You're trapped in a loop of involuntary tension, and you might go on vacation and you're out of stress and those things settle down a little bit. But notice, stress sets these things off. 80% of the problem is stress reaction. That tight back pattern from going forward in life and getting things done, and then the withdrawal response, the tight front pattern. And wow, what if you have enough stress in life that the two patterns together are activated and there's a habit of front and back tight against each other? Well, that's a lot of tension. And I can show you how to make a big positive change in that. It's the only thing that helped me with my problem. And I studied a lot of very technical, advanced modalities, some of which were outright cons. Some do not work predictably at all. Some are just hocus pocus. And I studied things that were so close to working, but they didn't get the brain involved enough. Now, problem's so easy to solve. And I know you can do it. I can show you how to have success with it. So I hope you check out my website, and I hope you give me a call, and I hope you come to see me because there's no reason to be putting up with this problem. It won't resolve itself. In fact, the more stress you have, the worse it's going to get. Your nervous system is rehearsing it and practicing it hours and hours and hours every day. So check out my website, inspiresomatics.com, and there's lots of information there, but you can only understand what I do by experiencing it, because I just show you how to experience yourself. I'll leave it at that. Blessings to you. Thank you for watching.